too, and we have here with us Aunt Afton from Dillon, Montana, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the Larsen family, and especially about our grandmother Nita Larsen, her sister, and go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I'll try to do the very best I can. Remembering when you're 91 years old is really sometimes a task. You get your wires crossed once in a while, but there's a good thing about old age, there's always somebody there to correct you, set you straight, and give you an arm a twist if you don't do what they tell you to. It's a pleasure for me to be here with Joe and Colleen. Colleen has always been a very special little girl. And I have my own two daughters, and Colleen is my niece and my daughter. So that gives me a double love. She's such a wonderful girl, and Joe is the perfect husband for her. They requested I try to remember something about my dearly beloved sister, Juanita, who we all know as Nita. My earliest memories of her are one of a caretaker. She was always helping me. She would help me with my dolls, and she would help me cut out my paper dolls, and that was a big thing for me. I had paper dolls out of all the Sears Roebuck catalogs that came out at that time. That was my paper dolls. Nita was so kind and thoughtful. She was very, very talented. She was a very, very beautiful girl, and later a beautiful woman. She had blonde, curly hair and beautiful, expressive blue eyes. She was especially gifted in what was then called elocution, which would now be the dramatics. And she took dancing for years too, and she was also a dancer. But elocution and acting was her main object. She loved to do it. She was in the school plays. She did several talks and readings. She would give at all of our get-togethers in church, and whenever she was requested to do so. One of my early memories was taking care of my brother Darrell and I, who were just about a year and a half apart, and I was 5 years younger than Nita. She had a great imagination, as we all tried to use our imaginations in playing our games, but it wasn't all laid out before us. We were playing some kind of a weird game. Anyway, my brother and I were sitting quietly on the floor playing something or other together, and Nita come in, crawling on her hands and knees, and she had this bear rug thrown over her body. And she started in this little voice, I'm the old witch. I'm going to fix you guys. And so I felt like the big boob I was. I don't want old witch, I want Nita. So when she had us properly subdued, she'd throw off the rug and dramatically jump up. Oh, it isn't the old witch, it's Nita. That was a favorite game. Scare your kids to death. That's the way to take care of them. However, that wasn't her usual way. But it was just one of our little kid games we played, I guess. I can remember her dancing in the school programs. And one of her readings was then called Keeping a Seat at the Benefit. And I would listen to her practice and try to remember everything. By the time she got through, I could say it almost as good as she could, but of course I didn't have the opportunity to perform in front of everybody. I don't know, the family, we were a close family. There was 4 of us. We had a younger sister who died when she was 8 hours old. And still, at that time, they, of course, didn't have names to put on causes of death or anything, so it was just a guess what was the matter. She was a year younger than my younger brother, so she would have been the youngest in the family. I was in the middle. We never knew her, but we always knew of her memory and talked about her and thought about her. I thought about myself, how nice it would have been for me to have a little sister to play with, too. Daryl and I were so very close. I guess that sometimes Mother used to say that it was girls being older than the boy. The girl would always be the leader, maybe that was why I was so bossy. And I thought I could boss him around, and that wore itself out too when he got to be about 12 years old. Then he started to outgrow me by about a foot or more. And anyway, he was a boss. We didn't always play both boss and slave. We tried to get along, and in high school we did. We went out with the same crowds and enjoyed the same people, and that was the way it was with the two of us. Nita being older, and Gilbert, the oldest one, was 2 years older than she was, and they were pretty close, I think, as I remember. Nita grew up she was a very spiritual girl and very deeply involved in everything in the church that she could. When she graduated from high school, I don't know, at that time Rick's College wasn't into the college. It had been a 2-year high school for some time. They did have, I think, the first 2 years of college, but now I just don't understand why she didn't go on to college. It's, to me, I can't remember what the reason was, but maybe it's because she felt like she should be farther away from home. I don't know. Anyway, she did go. She went over to Moscow, Idaho, where I guess it was because Gib was going there, and he had been there 2 years, and it was so when she left, she went over there to school to Moscow. Of course, it was a state-run school. They had their fraternities and sororities, and that was a big thing. She was pledged into a sorority right away because of her talents, and she was chosen in one of the better sororities, I think. But the trouble with sorority life was the hazing. That has since been discontinued or outlawed in the colleges now, because sometimes it got too rough, and it was really hard on them. They really did some really bad tricks after they'd had a death or so that happened during the hazing era. Why they decided that wasn't for the colleges. However, when she went, that wasn't in effect. Bells would ring about 1 o'clock at night, and the pledges, the freshmen, would have to get up and maybe scrub the floors or clean the bathrooms or some hard job, and then they would work until about 3 or 4 in the morning, or they'd take them out in the country, dump them out of the car, and let them walk back in if they could find their way. And it was really hard on Nita. She just was not used to that element. And the element otherwise, there was a lot of drinking problems, I guess, I don't know. And things that Nita was never considered in her life, nor never would. So she had come home at Christmas, and she had a nervous breakdown. That was really hard. It was so hard on Mother to have to go through it, and we all tried to do the best we could with her. They didn't have the facilities then, or the help that they have now with counseling and so forth. And it was so hard on her. It took her forever to get over that. Then when she did finally kind of get back on her feet and everything, her very good friend Norvilla Farnick, Oscar Norvilla Farnick, was living in Blackfoot, and they wanted Nita to come down and stay with them for a while. And they moved over to Boise, but I guess it was in Blackfoot where Nita went to visit and stay with Arvilla to see if she could kind of get herself straightened out and active again. And Arvilla was a very good friend, very religious and church-oriented, and they got along fine. However, this is a hard part to talk about because I don't want to cast any bad feelings or have any of Colleen's family feel badly, especially, but she met her husband, Roger Miller. I'm not going to go into that marriage at all because I am probably prejudiced and I don't want anyone to feel badly about their grandparent. But it was just really too much for Nita. Roger finally, he didn't like her to be around her family too much. And so he worked for my dad for a while, and they lived in Mother's basement, an apartment there. And that, I don't know, and then finally they did move to he started making enough money so that he could get a little apartment out in Selms, which they did. But there was a lot of friction going on, mostly on account of her first child. I'm getting ahead of myself here with Nita's story because when they were first married, they moved out to San Francisco. And she was alone a lot of the time. And she finally reverted back again to the problems that she had had. And she was trying to overcome her nervous breakdown. And it was a hard life for her. She just couldn't get it all together. So Dad and Mother drove out there and brought her home. She kept writing and calling him. And it was with Roger's consent that she did leave. But they brought her home again, brought them to the house, and then after a while Roger moved back to Idaho. That's when he started working for her dad. Now, those kind of things are really hard to, I have maybe my view is slanted, but I do know that Roger probably was a good person, and he tried, but he had a hard childhood too, and I think a lot of that was reflected in his feelings towards the family, and I can't explain that, so I quit trying to do that. Anyway, it didn't work out. So the folks did finally get her an apartment, get them into an apartment, a little house, a couple of blocks away, and we didn't know how things were going, but she had some very unhappy experiences there. He would get mad. He'd come home angry and take it out on her. He would embarrass her. Her visiting her home teachers had come, and he would lay on the couch and turn his back all the time that they were there. It's naturally embarrassing. The worst episode, and I guess this was part of the final break, he came home angry, and she had dinner on the table waiting for him, fixed up nice. He grabbed the tablecloth and ripped it off the table, and dishes and food flew everywhere. And it was just a horrible, hectic life that she had, and she just couldn't handle it. So again, they moved down to Idaho Falls. This was at the start of the Depression, and it was hard to get work. He was a worker, and I'm not taking that away from him. He worked hard and he tried, but things had to go his way, or it was not right. So he had difficulty relating to people, and he had this little service station there. Excuse me. And they had a little room behind the office where they lived, and this is when Darrell was a little boy. I don't know how different the age was between you, Colleen, and Nita 4 years. He was 4 years old, and Nita was pregnant with Colleen. And when the baby came, Mother and Dad went down to the falls. They called for her to come down, and she never got out of the hospital. This was in March. It was a bitter, bitter March, but one that Idaho can have. The snow drifts way high, and it was just such a sad, sad thing for everybody. And you couldn't help but feel sorry for Roger either. He felt bad. He missed her in his way. And when the time came for their burial, the snow was so bad out to the Rexburg Cemetery, they couldn't use a car to take her out. So in a funeral car, so they had to get a sleigh, take her out the sleigh. And it was such a horrible winter and such a bad time for Nita. That's about all I can tell you about that. Colleen, if there's anything else, now I'll answer your questions.
Okay, I've been writing some things down. I was given a book, a diary of my mother's. I don't know where it is now, but it was given. And my grandmother said, which I called Mama, said that she talked about her fairies. Nita played games and I thought that was really special that she
had a great imagination, and she could relate to things like that.
Can you tell us any more about that?
I don't remember that.
That's probably when
she was probably younger than I am. Of course, the difference in age are.
But I thought that was really special. I could see her. Yeah, she had.
Now that was nice. I've never heard that.
And maybe you mentioned it, but what was the name of your sister that was born?
Her name was Kathleen. Kathleen.
Mama talked about the birth of in the family of some member of the family, and I thought it was her, but it must have not been, where there was a baby born, and the doctor didn't know that there was two, and they stitched her up, and there was another one. There was another baby there, and the baby died.
I don't know who that would be. I know what happened to Kay. She had twins. She was pregnant with twins, and they didn't find out it was twins. She had one. This would have to be. They both had. Did they die, both of them?
No. One of them lived, and I think the other one died, but I guess they had sewed her up or something, and she was in such terrible pain that they opened her up and found another baby there.
Well, it wasn't called Kay. She did have one child was born, and it didn't live, and she came home, and a week later she had to go back to the hospital, and they went in and discovered that other little one had never lived. The fetus had never lived, and from the time, since early on in the pregnancy, it might have probably lived long enough to form, but it had never lived, and they never recognized that fact when the baby was born. I'd forgotten about that, but Kay could tell you on that score what happened to her.
Well,
but this other one you're talking about, I'd never heard of that.
I kind of thought it was Larsen. I thought it was Grandma Larsen, but I do not know.
I never heard that story, ever.
Now, tell me the talents that some of the family had.
Well, they were all musically inclined, all of them. And especially my brother Daryl's family, very good. They it seems like they got all musical talent, as you know, because of playing in the symphony, Boston Symphony, and his granddaughter, Lynn George Larsen's daughter, Stephanie, is playing now with them in the summer pops. She plays with the violin. And Daryl's children are all talented that way. Of course, they got some of that musical talent from their mother, too, because Louise is always very talented. And then, of course, we have this Uncle Daryl, who was he was a college professor. He never married, but Grandma, I remember him. He was a very, very intelligent man. He taught at a college, a private boys' college back in Connecticut. I have a lot of information about him. I've got a whole stack up that Daryl, my brother Daryl gave me.
I'd like to see
Yeah,
that.
he was a drama teacher, and he was very, very good at that. And he even had some of his boys' school plays put on, and they showed in New York at a time or two that he had. And I can't remember, it seems like it was Mercer College or somewhere in Mercer, Connecticut or something.
It's too bad we didn't know.
But I've got all that information.
Okay, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
When my mother had a nervous breakdown, did they ever connect her thyroid with the nervous breakdown? Or when did they discover that she had thyroid problems?
I think that's when she had the nervous breakdown. And they figured that was the stroke plus the stress that she was under constantly. And the fact that she hadn't completely gotten over her nervous breakdown. It was just something I don't think you need to record, all the things she went through.
And so the doctors knew that she had thyroid problem. Did they treat it with medicine? Or do you know?
Well, I wouldn't know, Colleen. When she had her breakdown, I was married and living in Montana. And she came up one time to visit me, but she was, she'd wander off, and she'd do things that weren't like what we say normal.
I wondered because I had 3 daughters, with thyroid problems, and I wondered how I was treated then. Okay, another thing, Mama talked about an earthquake in San Francisco. Was my mother in that, or was?
Yes, your mother and both of her children, Kim and Nita both. Mother, after the big fire and earthquake, you heard of that in San Francisco, when it practically destroyed the town. I'm sure you've heard about it and read about it. See, that would have had to been in what? I was born in 1911. Nita was 5 years older than I, so she would have been about 2, so what would that put her back, Joe, in 1908 or something like that, when they had that big fire in San Francisco. But anyway, that's in history. So, yes, she did. Dad went out and got a job. Dad was a stonemason by trade. So they had a lot of rebuilding, and he got a lot of work there. And of course, it was such a severe one. They had aftershocks, went on. And this lady where she had the living, she had a second floor apartment in this house, and the lady that owned it told her to be sure and keep a little bag packed at all times with the children's necessities in. Something, to survive on. Which she did, but it was hard on Mother because she had Kib and Nita both. And she says every time they'd have the least bit of a shake or anything, she'd grab the kids and run down the stairs. So said she spent a good deal, excuse me, of her time running up and down the steps. They weren't out there very long. They stayed for a couple of years, I think.
Was it bad? Was the earthquake bad?
Oh, it was terrible. It wrecked a hole, burned all like around the docks and just, well, you can read about it in your history book. That'll be something for you to do. Look that up there, the earthquake.
What effect did it have on the family? My mother and...
Well, I think that they were too young. I don't know what effect it could have on, you know.
Did it ruin their apartment or?
Well, they weren't in it.
Oh.
They were there after the earthquake. Yeah, after
okay.
the earthquake.
What did my dad do when he was working for my mother's father?
Well, but he'd deliver things, and he did what Dad, I don't know exactly what Dad had him doing. He kind of a make work type of thing for him, so he'd have something to live on and still not have to depend on everything. It was, he'd deliver pianos and stuff. My dad would sell one out in the country or something like that. Maybe it was some repair work, what he could handle. I think it kept him busy enough.
Where did your dad start his stone?
Oh, Dad started
work?
out, his dad was from Denmark, and they migrated into Sanpete County. He had a farm there to begin with, and Dad was raised like that, the sheep. And he and his older brother would go out with sheep out in the Monument Valley, and he was it was interesting. There his history, because he said they would.
Did he help with the Manti Temple and
Yeah,
was a stone worker?
Yeah, and he was, Grandpa Larsen was a stone mason too. So they worked on the temple. They helped build the temple. They were busy on that, but that's what Grandpa Larsen did besides sheep farming. He had the stone masonry, because that's what he had done in Denmark.
Oh.
He had been a mason in Denmark, so that's what he did there. But Dad tells about, and I've heard, tells about the time when, what was that, Sundance Kid, and that pair, what was it, Sundance Kid, and who else was with him?
Butch Cassidy.
Butch
And
Cassidy?
Butch Cassidy.
Oh yeah, Butch Cassidy. And he said that they holed up in that area where they had run their sheep. And they told him when they went up in there, not those guys, but the people said, be careful, don't step on their toes for anything. And he said one time he was sure it was them, they came to the camp, and Uncle Murray had stopped by them. So they had their guns. So Dad said they immediately invited him to eat, and then they butchered the sheep and cleaned it up and gave it to him for a gift, and said from then on, why, they just ignored him. They'd go through that country on the forays, I guess, and here and there, and doing their dirty work. But he said they left them pretty much alone, but I thought that was kind of fun to talk about.
I want to say Pa, because that's my grandfather, and they raised me, so I called him Pa. But his mother was quite a painter, wasn't she?
She was very artistic, very artistic. She did a lot of painting, and she was also a seamstress, and she made hats. And my mother always used to say she was always the last one in church, and you'd know that she was going to wear a new hat when she'd come in every once in a while. New hat she'd made. She loved nice things. She had had this, her back was bad, deformed, she's a little hunchbacked, because of she had, well, and you know, the girls worked just as hard as the men did in those days, and she had heavy things to carry, like sacks of wheat or whatever. And it was just, you know, those pioneer times were tough on the women, really hard on the women. They made them old before their time. And grandmother had such a love of of books and Shakespeare. She could quote Shakespeare, and she was really an intelligent woman and ahead of her. She was ahead of her time because she liked the drama, and she when when her family grew up and when the boys grew up, she always had the two youngest boys were always doing something, and that she was teaching them drama and Shakespeare all this time. They were putting on plays, and that was Grandma Larsen. She was just really a wonderful old lady. It was fun to talk to her. She had such a romantic way of talking, describing.
My grandmother Larsen, that I called Mama, she came from the Sanders family. Could you tell us a little bit about the Sanders family?
Well, they were all pioneers too. And of course, you know, Uncle John, or grandfather Hess had 7 wives, and our great grandmother, my great grandmother, I say mine because great grandmother Bigler, and she was an early pioneer. And the Hesses were early pioneers. The Biglers were early pioneers. And Grandma Sanders, when she was about 10 or so, her mother died, and she was given over to one of the steroids. I think it was Carolyn Workman was her name, and she raised her, but she had all the little kids to take care of. But she was just a tiny woman, and she wasn't over 5 feet, and she was always busy. Her house was spotless. She was a marvelous cook. She had 11 children, and Grandpa Sanders used to tell her that she was no bigger than a pint of soap after a hard day's washing. He had quite a sense of humor. They had a great big yard. We used to go over there and pick berries and raspberries and strawberries and whatever berry was, those little black boysenberry things. And anyway, she had a wonderful big yard. She was busy. She could sew. She sewed everything. I can't imagine sewing clothes for 11 children, but she did it. I think all those pioneer women, they knew from the ground up what to do and how to do it, and they were very self-sustaining, self-sufficient. She was one of them. She always had it on every birthday, and she never forgot. She'd make me a plate of donuts, and oh, they were so good. I remember her telling me to come over. She lived right across the street from Mother and Dad. That's where she ended her days. Had this big yard out there. Grandpa Sanders traveled back and forth from Utah to Idaho to Montana. Remember the time he came to Montana, all he would have to do was ask for some extra money or whatever. Of course, he had a small pension because he was in the, what war? I know he was in the militia, the LDS militia. I don't know. Joe, do you remember anything about that?
Mormon Battalion, was he in that?
He wasn't in the Mormon Battalion, but John Hess was in the Mormon Battalion, and so was grandmother. My grandmother Bigler, great-grandmother Bigler was his first wife, and they were just newly married when they came after men to join the battalion. And he volunteered, and she said she would go with him. And she was one of 72 of the women, laundresses and cooks and whatever they used them for, helpers in all ways, to go with the Mormon battalion. So, and then great uncle Henry Bigler had a journal, and we've all read his journal. And in You've been in San Diego to the, and seen that in the Mormon, what is it?
The old town.
Yeah, in the old town there, in the Mormon Visitor Center, where there's plaques. And I was there, I told them, you know, it was after I was served my mission, I went down there, and these people that were running, one of them that were taking care of it, were people that I'd met on the mission. They were one of our leaders, man and wife. So they got the original book out and let me look at it. A journal, Annie Bickler journal. Mm-hmm.
Where did you live in Rexburg? Did you always live in the house that I lived in, or?
No, first house I remember, and I think it's the only one. It was a little house down by the what they call the Adams School, and it was just across the street there. And it was a small house, but we had a big yard. We had a garden, and there was 2 bedrooms upstairs, kind of an unfinished attic affair. But there were 2 bedrooms up there. Nita and I had one, Gip and Daryl had the other one. There's a bedroom downstairs and a great big dining area. And then we had a parlor that was in the front. I got pictures of that parlor with the piano in it. Remember that? What? They played rollers, those player pianos.
I love that. Now, Paul wasn't always in the music business. What did he do?
Well, he first went, as I say, he was working, laying bricks and stuff. And on the first, he helped build that. Well, it's torn down now. But the Woodman Hall, they called it. It was a big, high brick building, 2 stories. And they had a big dance hall up in the 2nd floor. And he helped build that. And the building where it used to be JCPenney, but it isn't. I mean, where they've got their performance, where Gibbs Store was, the building next to them. He worked on that too, the stonemason. And then he decided to go into the variety business, and he liked merchanting and selling. He was a good salesman. But then he sold that. King's company come in at that time, and he sold that. And he and Uncle Fred at one time were in a pool hall. Well, he wasn't exactly happy with that, because he thought there was no place to be raising a family environmentally. He didn't think it was a good place. So then he decided to go into the music business, and he was in there for 30 or, I don't know, 35 years. He was in the music business for a long, long time.
And he taught himself how to play the piano, is that?
Pardon?
And he taught himself a little bit about playing the piano.
Oh, yeah. Every note he played by ear. He played piano. And he also played the guitar. He and another friend had played for entertainment for the dances, you know, and they'd have a prom, we'd ask them to play it, intermission or something. They had the Hawaiian guitar, and Dad played the other regular guitar.
Did my grandmother Larsen, Mama, ever learn to drive? Did she drive a car? Drive a car?
She never touched the wheel, but she certainly knew how to drive.
Stop, George, stop.
She never kept still. I don't know how he kept from wrecking. She was always asking, George, don't do that. Turn in, turn her. Be careful. No, she never would learn. Dad was going to teach her, and she just would not learn. She didn't even want to.
Do you recall any family stories that were told and retold at times and bring a little bit of chuckles and laughter in the family, or do you remember when
Oh,
type stories?
well, there was a lot of them over the years. I remember them talking about when they used to court each other, or my dad was courting her. Then they were traveling in sleighs down, and they'd go someplace to a dance, and said they'd hang a lantern up, they'd put a big, I don't know, canvas or something over those, and hang a lantern up in those sleighs, and then they'd race up and down. Till one time one sleigh tipped over and the lamp in it and the whole world works. So she didn't tell a lot about that because that was a little too wild for her to tell. She didn't want us to know what they did. Oh, let's see. There's a lot of funny things happen.
What about the dance? She always told about the dance and the gal that lost her.
Oh, the gal was her.
Can you tell us about
Oh,
that?
yeah, she said they'd have these country dances all the time, you know. And, no, I guess it wasn't her. It was a friend of hers. And dancing around there one day, and this lady lost her drawers fell off. And she said the girl just kicked them under the chair, under the side, and went on dancing. Of course, they had these big long skirts. I guess they had a lot of fun in their way.
Can
She
you,
tells about when the kids, she says, oh, we were so poor, it was awful. And the grandpa had gone down to Utah to visit, and the boys, her family had most of the boys, it seems like. So they were the ones that were doing all the farming and working. And she said that Grandma went down with him. She decided she'd go down with him. And while they were gone, my Grandma just sewed a new red rug for the living room. And they had these dances, had the neighbors come in and dance. And so they danced till the rug fell apart.
could you remember some of the sayings that my grandmother said?
Oh, heavens, I guess I repeat them all the time, but I don't know. You know about as many of them as I do, Colleen.
I repeat them a lot, too.
Yes, you do. So do I. So, but I don't know what. Sit down and start picking them out. I don't know. I know that when you were born, Mother, well, little Aceto was just four years old, and felt so sad for him. He was with his mother from the day one that he was born, and just clung to her all the time. And it was so sad when he had on this little blue coat and red cap, and I could see him. And he went outside, and he was gone, and couldn't find him, and Uncle Fred went to look for him, and found him about a couple blocks away, and said he's just standing there with tears running down his cheeks. And he says, where are you going, Darrell? And he said, I'm going to Sugar City, so maybe Neat is there. Neat is what he called his mother. I want to see Neat. That was a sad, sad story for me. I always think of that when I think of Cito and problems he's had. So we just have to know what's in people's hearts, I guess.
Well, is there anything you'd like to tell us about you?
No.
How,
No, thanks.
How did
This
you
isn't
meet
about
Uncle
me.
Lewis?
Hmm?
Well, you're part of the family. You told me once you had a dream after my mother died.
Oh, I had a dream. I don't know whether it was after or the same night. When I got up the next morning, I dreamed. Well, I can just see that. I was sitting up on a hill, and I could hear this clang, like a shovel digging against rock. And that was the dream I had. And and then found out the next day that Nita had died that night. And I know after the funeral, when Roger was getting ready to leave to go California, I guess, and he left you and Cito. Of course, he didn't have any way to take you with him, and I don't think that anybody would wanted to let you go anyway. Of course, if you were his children, if he said go, then we would have no recourse. But he left him there because he realized he couldn't take care of you. And so he wanted a picture, and he and you two children were standing there, or were there. Was holding you. He was holding you, and Cito was there. And he said, and he stood, and he says, "Come on, you get in the picture," he said to me. So I got in the picture, and they snapped that picture. And to me, and I'll never forget the sensation, it was just like Nita had stood there, and I had gone. It was the weirdest feeling when I'd suddenly left, and it was Nita. And when that picture was finished, it was Nita. And that was...
What happened to that picture?
I don't know what happened. I've seen it, but he probably took it with him, because we just had the one, but that was it. Mm. So you know, Colleen, wherever you go and whatever you do, your mother's near you.
You said once something about a baby was put in your arms, or you had a dream that, or you didn't say that?
I didn't say that. Not that I remember, no. Maybe it was Mother's that said it. So I think that about winds up what I can tell you.